What's going on, YouTube? We are here on another episode of Just Drive Cars and Life. I'm your host, Naveed, and we got Case here with us. Case, thanks for showing up.
I'm sorry?
Thanks for showing up.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
No worries. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a podcast. I've been super busy for the whole month of May. We had the weather down here, and then obviously trying to book with other, people that wanted to do the podcast, canceling, and then I had some personal things going on. So finally, I can catch up.
Yeah,
it puts a smile on my face. So
no, it's good. It's always good news.
Yeah, for sure. And you are Dutch. Correct?
Yes. Yep. Originally from the Netherlands. I lived there for 25 years.
No way.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
Only 10 more years here in the States, and I'll be the same
category, I guess.
Category. And I mean, I'll truly be half Dutch, half American.
There you go.
Or half Texan.
Nice. Very good. Congratulations.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah. I actually have cousins that live in Amsterdam, so yeah, the Dutch know how to party, and the Dutch know how to drink.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Nothing wrong with that, but
it was better when I was younger.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So, what type of challenges did you go through when you first came here to the U.S.?
It's a typical thing, trying to fit in, trying to find a job, and all that good stuff. That's the big thing, because I came here with essentially nothing. Right.
Right.
Yeah. I just came here and I married my then girlfriend, and
nice.
You start your life.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Nice. And you were always involved in cars, obviously, since you were,
Yeah, well, here in the States, actually, that kind of fell by the wayside, but before that, in Holland, I ran with a street race club.
Gotcha. Very good.
So I shot some videos there, I shot pictures there as well. I can't even remember which highway it was. It's statute of limitations is already gone on it anyway. I think it was the A50, but I can't be 100%. But I was filming a part of who would be the fastest.
Okay.
And I was in I think it's a small Mercedes, I think, convertible AMG, and
nice.
He was the fastest one, so
very good.
He passed all these other guys, but then we got stuck, and these other guys went past us left and right, and the driver was like, "Yeah, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy." But in the end, we still passed him again, because that dropped out like 260 kilometers an hour.
260 kilometers, was that like 140, 150 miles an hour?
No, well, it's 1.6 kilometers an hour would be 1 mile an hour, so conversion.
I thought it was 2.2. It's 1.6?
Yeah, 1.6.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
1.6, whatever, 0.5.
Oh, 2.2 is going from kilograms to pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That shows you I'm not European.
Yeah.
Well, very funny. Interesting. Okay, so...
But I passed all these guys, so I was filming that, and I looked it back like a couple of years back. I don't even know if I have the footage anymore, but I looked it back and went, man, I was so crazy back then. That was a stupid mistake.
You had to do what you have to do, though. You got to do
that. Was actually, I think before 1320 was even a thing, before YouTube was even a thing, really. Yeah, Street Fire. Can you remember that website?
I remember. Yeah. I remember small things about it, though. I mean, I was middle school or high school, once I was looking into it. But I mean, back in the day, it's exactly like I said. There was no YouTube. You only had, VCRs or DVDs, or you would hear word of mouth. Or
not even HD.
Right. Exactly.
That was 480p, I think.
Or VCD, I guess.
No clue.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. I had this DCR V3 camera. I think
that was like the best thing.
No, it was good, and it's kind of like the predecessor to the A6000 that I got now, which is now also old, but it's still kind of the same as a small form factor. You can shoot pictures with it, or you can do what I do and just use it as a DSLR slider thing.
Yeah, basically that's how we met. You did a video review of my M5. And so that was, what was that, almost 2 years ago?
I can't. Time goes so quick.
Time does go so quick. Yeah, I remember.
But before that, of course, Cars and Coffee.
Cars and Coffee.
No one knows me unless they go, "Oh, wait a minute, aren't you that guy from Cars and Coffee?" Like, yes.
Yeah, but I've always what really got me inspired was like, Case. he's an American muscle guy, you know, even though he's from Holland, you know. If you talk about German cars or any type of European car, it really doesn't get him going that much. But you talk about any American muscle, you know, he can talk about it all day if he wants to, which is really interesting. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Everybody has their own opinion about as far as what cars they like and what cars they don't like, you know.
Yeah, off camera, there's a VR6 Passat sitting out there. So.
Yeah. No worries. But you do also own a 05 Mustang GT with a 4.6 liter manual.
Manual, of course. Can't do it without a manual. Oh, you can. The 10-speed auto is so freaking good now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of people try to, you know, race, you know, on the track with my M5, and I'm just like, dude, you got a 10-speed automatic. Any 10-speed automatic car automatically beats me, no matter how hard I try.
It's like when the GTR first came out, you know, not a ton of power,
right?
You know, but that transmission it makes up so much.
Yeah, and then, you know, and in the beginning they had their problems with their transmissions, and then they finally fixed them after first came out in 2009.
Yeah, I think the 13s they fixed them.
Yeah, after 13s. Well, it was really interesting. So in 2009, it came with a launch edition.
Yeah.
The 2010s, none of them came with launch editions at all. So
because they all broke them.
Yeah, probably. So like if you found yourself a 2010, probably the transmission is not as, you know, hard, you know, or trashed up like the 2009s or anything. But I think after 2013, they started fixing them, and so, you know, the car started becoming more reliable and everything. And then the other day, I was actually watching a YouTube video. I think this company, or this tuning company out in the UK, they had like 2,000 horsepower, you know, 2017 or 2018 Nissan GTR, like
they ain't gonna be the stock transmission anymore, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, like
Power Glide, right?
Basically, yeah. I mean, like when I went to Texas 2K down in Houston, you know, I'm looking at those, you know, GTRs that are going right down the track, and they can haul, you know, they can move. You know, you got an all-wheel drive, and you got V6 twin turbo, you know, trying to make over like 1,700 horsepower with it.
That's
and
crazy
it's like,
stuff.
Yeah, but the one that impressed me the most out of all those cars down in Houston was that Huracan that went like 233 miles an hour, you know, in 8.5 seconds, just like screaming right down the track. Like it was really impressive. So
yeah, I mean, it's like it's really, the game has changed so much because everyone's like, oh, is that a Supra? Yeah, you know, the 2JZ was legendary.
Right,
it was, but is it relevant anymore?
Yeah, I mean, like that's
it is, but it isn't, you know.
And that's the thing. I'm just like, you know, you're drag racing a GTR, like, okay, why? Or you're drag racing a Supra, okay, why? You know, it just says, you know, and I think a lot of people then want to come back and says, you know, you don't necessarily need a V8 twin turbo or a V10 or an Ashasper or even a V12. You know, you can do it with a straight 6 if you want to. You can do it with a straight 4 if you wanted to.
Or a front wheel drive Civic hatchback.
Yeah, basically. Get 2,000 horsepower out of that sucker. You know, you can cook if you want.
You just look at these freaking big ass tires on the front of those things.
Weight,
and you go, okay,
you know,
wait a minute.
Weight ratio and everything, and especially if you're front wheel drive, you know, if you got really good slicks and you got really good weather, you can run in the 7s and the 8s if you wanted to. But the amount of money that just goes into those cars is just crazy. It is nuts.
But you know what? It's one of those things you can't take with you anyway. So if you got it,
you might as well just do it. Yeah, and then the process of, okay, my transmission breaks down. Okay, I got a backup transmission. I can install within an hour. And then, like, not only that, they got teams. People working on the car. It's just not 1 or 2 people. Like, you got 10 people on the car. You need to get this ready in 2 hours. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm paying you for this much. Hurry up, get the car fucking ready. So it's
crazy.
But it's a work of art. Literally is. It's a work of art. You know.
Some of those cars look great. You know, they take the bumpers off and you see these freaking exhaust systems go, and you go. Man, okay, obviously this doesn't look factory. Some of the installs look factory. You know, you look at the top and you go, okay, I can't really see anything.
Right.
But others, they take that same and then they add attention to detail with the exhaust and the way it's welded, and you know, it looks better even with the bumper off than on sometimes. It's crazy.
I mean, to each of their own. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I
show cars
more. Yeah, I mean the Vipers by itself, they're like, dude, I didn't know the Viper had that type of capability. You know. Like it's just crazy. Even Camaros, you know. When I was watching, I was watching a Grand Tour episode with Jeremy Clarkson and Hammond and everything.
Oh yeah.
And you saw that Exorcist Camaro that was in there, 1,000 horsepower, you know, Camaro, and you're just like, what am I going to do with 1,000 horsepower Camaro that
I used to have that question, and I no longer have that question. What I would do.
So I mean, what was your answer?
My answer is watch the review on the ZL1 that I did.
Right. Yeah. That white one. Yeah.
Oh God.
How was that experience?
It's crazy. It's just next level because you get on it and it's like nothing you've ever experienced.
Right.
Everyone says, "Oh, it's just 1,000 wheel horsepower." You just have all these Huracans making well north of 2,000 now. So it's like, it's just 1,000. But as soon as you are in that driver's seat, you put the foot to the floor.
Yeah.
Man, transcends. Your mind's here, and the car is there.
Right.
You got to have room. There's one point in the review where I'm just driving, and I'm driving the regular speed.
Right.
Everyone else is driving.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it.
Oh well, it was just I was driving with the flow of traffic, and then I'm mad at, and those people they got normally they get slowly, right? But it was almost instant that they were gone. And that's kind of like the feeling that you get when you get on it, and you know that the car is fast when it does that. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with 1,000 horsepower, it can go to 0 to 60 pretty quick.
Yeah. And it can go out of hand too, but that one was actually set up pretty nice.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Well, and that was another interesting thing that when I was reading your file was, in your opinion, you think that American cars are the best American cars ever made?
And the reason why is because it's cheap horsepower, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So horsepower-wise, you think America
horsepower-wise, but also like with the handling nowadays. Like everyone thinks that American cars are still like these boats because they still think about the 60s and 70s. They can't quarter. That's no longer the case. Like even with the S197s, like the later one, the Boss, they went up against the M3 with a solid rear axle. So it's like, it's no longer the case that they can't handle. But they're still way less expensive than getting yourself into like a BMW or a Mercedes or anything else like that with a similar amount of power and performance. It's just they're not going to be as refined. They're more, I guess, hardcore, I guess. They're just easier to get upset, whereas these other cars, they're engineered just a little bit better. But still, the cars now, they handle as good, in some cases better than any of the other staples that you have.
So, like, can you necessarily come back and say, like, a Shelby GT, 500 2020 is as good as an Audi R8, or is it as good as a Porsche GT3 R8?
Yeah, I see.
Handling wise.
I think when it comes down to that, I haven't driven the GT500 yet, so I can't comment on that.
Okay.
And the only Porsche that I've driven was a Carrera S, which nowhere near the power level as all these other cars. So would they be the same? I think that they're like not even in the same league, because here you have a car that's like 80 grand, and here you have a car that is well north of 100,000. Like the cheapest one would be the Audi R8 out of the two, I think, that you mentioned.
Yeah, and you can, give or take, right? You got the Audi R8 that's got a V8 in it, and then you got the Audi R8 that's got the V10 Plus in it.
Yeah, if you go for the older ones, like the current ones, they don't have a V8 anymore.
The current ones are the
V10s.
Yeah, and you can get it professionally tuned by Heifer if you want to down in Florida. I have a friend of mine that has one, and I think
I just go to turbo. UGR. Yeah, underground racing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's one of those things. You got Dallas Performance over here too, but out of the two, like the first one that I came really in contact with was UGR, and I think what's the other one? Sheepy.
Yeah, Sheepy Race. Yeah,
hear good things about them
stuff.
too. So
that's right.
It's one of those things. You just look at the cars that are winning at these 1320 videos. And you go, okay, that is where I want to bring my money. But that's like.
And and to each of their own, like 1320, like I get it, that's a really good platform that everybody uses to figure out where their car is going to be. But I feel like some of the owners in there are still not as honest as far as what's really under their hood.
Sandbagging, that's the name of the game when you're playing that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're trying to raise somebody for cash. You definitely have to tell me what's underneath the table, what's underneath your hood. But sometimes those people don't even want to.
Oh, they're still sandbagging. That's has been the name of the game since.
That's
why it was called sandbagging, because you have these guys who kind of just dump a couple of sandbags in this old muscle car. And it's only only like 12, so it's not that. They pull the
Right,
backs.
exactly.
10, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Give me your cash, 50 smackers. Which
yeah,
back then was probably a lot of money.
At the end of the day, yeah, show your car up at the track, have somebody to take a look at your car, and just pretty much go from there and then put your money where your mouth is, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of egos when it comes to cars, a lot of people are assholes, genuine assholes. And they're like, well, let's do it for fun. Let's do it for this. Let's do it for that. You're like, okay, well, fine. You want to do it for fun, but are you going to pay for my gas? Or where's your insurance at, And all of that comes into a factor, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just a race. It's a lot of goes into it, you know what I mean? Because you're asking me to do performance, that is basically not safe, even though it's on the track. Yeah, I get it. But, you do one wrong move and your car is either off the track or it's wrecked.
You see a bunch of these accidents.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At 1320, again, there's a ton of videos where these people crash into the wall, into each other. There's a risk involved. But on a track, you got that safety. On the street, not so much. What, am I going to say that I've never had fun on the streets? Basically. I think everyone has a car, has lined up some stranger next to him, and it's like, hey dude, and then you have some fun and it's done.
Yeah, basically, yeah. As long as it's safe. Yeah, I was actually...
empty roads, straight, no side streets, not inside city limits, all that good stuff, you're smart, then it's fine. But if it's some young kid next to you, it's like, I've had that happen. It was a while ago. I think he was in a 300 RT, and I was in my Mustang. And he stopped next to me, and he started revving at me, and I look at him. Okay, I said, one, you're going to lose because the thing is a freaking boat.
Right.
And to 60, I could keep up with the SRT back in the day, So you're going to lose. And two, you're way too freaking young.
Right.
And three, I think it was on a street in Plano called Legacy. If you're familiar with Legacy, you do not want to play on there at all. And again, there's the inside city limits thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of places where you can do something like that safe.
Right.
And it's always these people that don't do it in those places that you get in wrecks and say, oh, you street racers. Yeah.
Do you think
they weren't street racers, though.
Do you think there should be an age limit to where, I just thought about this. I know it sounds really cheesy and stupid, but it's just like to avoid, stupid shit from happening. You know what I mean? Like from takeovers, from illegal racing on the streets. Like, what if there was like an age limit? Like, they come back and say, okay, you need to be like such and such. You need to be like 18 or 21 in order to drive like a V8 car or like a V6 car. No, from this age to this age, you need to drive like a 4-cylinder car. From this age to this age, you need to drive this, and then you work your way up.
I think that there's a couple of problems with that. Some people.
I'm just curious.
Some people are not like other people. And for me, it's like when I started my first car, 75 horsepower, 4-speed Peugeot 305. Then I graduated to a 405 with a whopping 103 horsepower, And then I come to the United States and it's like, 300 horsepower.
Right.
So that was a 200 horsepower jump. But at that time,
and it's funny
I was 25.
Yeah, and it's funny how you say that because like I'll talk to my uncle about it, and I'm just like, hey, so how does it feel going like from 100 horsepower to like 200 horsepower? It's like 200 horsepower is a lot of horsepower. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, that's nothing, right? It's nothing. And
so now I'm like 300 horsepower. Oh yeah. I was like, yes, it's so much power. Right. And then now I do this car review thing, and it's like, dude, I ruined myself 100% because I'm in your M5. I'm like, is it quick? Absolutely, but is it fast?
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
It just isn't.
Right. And to each of their own, like it's every single car, how they have like their own horsepower, how they have their own top end speed is different. Does it make sense? Like,
but and that's one of those other things. These people that stare blindly on top end speed, you have all these runs on the highway that are going over 200 miles an hour. It's like, okay, well, it's fun that you can go that fast. And it's also, your danger level goes up with big increments at that point.
That's why I'm confident in mine.
Your tires.
Oh, yeah. You need all of that.
And road debris.
Oh, yeah.
Any of that other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm like, dude, for me, when it comes down to the fun speeds, it's going to be 0 to $120.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, dude, it just starts to become ridiculous. If you are not past someone at $120, and you went from 0 or you went from 50, you got the slower car. Stop chasing them,
Yeah.
And likewise, if you're that far ahead, just get out of it. Save some wear and tear on your car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I remember when I hit 200 with mine. It was just like it was my first time doing it, and it was just like it's like I said, you're looking down at the speedo, and you're looking at you've already just gone 100,000. Well, not 100,000, 1,000 yards already, just to simple down and up, and you're flying, you're screaming through, and you're just like it's just nuts. It's a different world, obviously. When you go in 120 plus, like the world just changes.
No, I think you can kind of like if you've done a bunch of highway driving, you get off the highway and you start driving city speeds again. You go like, man, this is slow. And especially with like the cars with the bigger engines, you start to drive too fast and sometimes way too fast, because you experience it to be slow, and then you look down the speed. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going way too fast.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. Like my dad, every once in a while, I'll have him drive the M5. Like if I have to do some like mechanical work on his car, if I got to do an oil change, and he'll drive, and he'll call me. He was like, dude. He was like, what? He said, I love you to death, but you got to be really careful with this car. I'm like, why? He was like, I wasn't paying attention to the speedo, but I was going 110 miles an hour on the highway. I wasn't even paying attention, and the speedo it's like 75, where it's like 60.
No, but that's one of those things, I never look at my speedo when I drive. I rarely look at the speedo. My reviews, I don't. Sometimes I have people saying, well, you went this and this, and I went, okay, well, I didn't know. Because I was in the zone, I'm paying attention, I'm grabbing gears. And that's what I do. I don't look at the speedo.
You're multitasking. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're multitasking. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like even with me, when I was doing 200, like all I care about in front of me is not any type of debris.
Yeah.
No cars. Even if there's cars, they either need to be in the far right lane or in the far left lane. They it's just one false move, and if you're doing 120 plus. It's going to ruin everything for you. It ruins everything.
Speeding is just one of those things. You can't do it when you want to. You can only do it when you can. And a lot of people go, what does that mean? Well, if you want to speed, that's like inherent. Everyone that has a car wants to speed.
Right.
But if you want to speed and you can't do it, because there's a ton of traffic, you shouldn't do it.
Right.
But if you want to speed and you can do it because there's no traffic, that's why I say it's not a question of want.
And there's a couple of guys here in Dallas that drive the Lambo Huracans that basically try to hit that that mark basically every single day. They know who they are. And
well, you know what? It is what it is. I just figure keep it as safe as possible, and that's it.
Of course, that's the ultimate factor.
Yeah. Because otherwise, they're gonna blame us again for whatever else happens. Because that's why I say whenever I shoot exit shots, you have all these people say, oh, spin him. And I go, dude, just knock it off, man. Because the first time someone spins off of here, we're going to get hosed.
Yeah. It's an ego thing. They see someone with a camera, they're like, oh, I want to get some good content with it, so I'm going to do this for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but
I look at these things, and there's also some YouTubers out there that just encourage that stuff. And I go, okay, well, it's some of them are not even from around here, and they encourage that stuff by just the way that they film their content. And I go, you're just here to leech, and the moment this show gets canceled, it doesn't matter for you because you're not even from around here.
Right.
It's people like me that get hosed.
Right.
Because I've had people starting to do a burnout, said, no, man, just don't do it. The only thing that I'm interested in is a freaking clean scent. I don't care about speed limit.
Right.
You can go 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Past me.
Right.
But just don't do drifts, don't do burnouts, because as soon as you start doing that, you're gonna ruin. You're gonna ruin it for everyone.
Don't draw attention.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Well, you're gonna draw attention at 100 miles an hour with a loud exhaust too. But it's like, at least they can't get you for something like, oh, you reckless driving, because that's what I'm saying. If I ever get caught for 100 plus miles an hour, which there's always a chance.
Right.
They will never be able to pin reckless driving on me because I was doing it when the road was empty.
Right.
And it's a straight road with no side streets.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, Judge, but in an insert car that I was driving here.
Basically, yeah. And I had one of my friends talk about a story about a time that he was on the highway and they were doing like 120 or something like that, and then they finally saw that this sheriff Tahoe coming in, and they all finally slow down. The sheriff cop comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, thank you so much for pulling over." He's like, you're thanking me for pulling over? Why? He was like, well, one, I don't think my car's governed at like 125 miles an hour, so I can't go any faster than that.
Yeah, but then you got the Motorola, you know.
Right? And so, like, you know, the guys came back and said, like, okay, like, we'll slow down if that's what you're doing. He's like, yeah, just please slow down. Like, I get it. It's awesome. But yeah, I mean, if there's a time where you can do it on a road to where there's not a lot of attention to be drawn, like I think drifting is going to be fine. No, but not somewhere like in the inner city limits. No. Somewhere out in the suburbs, you know, somewhere where it's like there's not a whole lot of traffic. You know, if you get a wide open parking lot or something like that.
Exactly. If you leave a parking lot inside city limits and you pull off a little drift when there's no one else around. Yeah. Even if you were to spin out, you're not even going to be right. So, whatever, but these people that do it in public parks and public areas. Absolutely. And then closing off streets and go, oh, my God, here we go again. And then they call them street racers, and I go, that's not street racers. Because the street racer, you don't even know where they are. You hear them, and the moment that you call the cops, they're already in the next county. Yeah. They're gone.
They got teams of people.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Exactly. They go in, they do the hit, and they're gone.
It's just unfortunate. You know, it's just unfortunate that, you know, they are labeling basically somebody that revs or somebody that, you know, tries to, you know, manhandle somebody else with their own car, try to tell them, oh, your car is slow or something like that. Is, oh, that's considered a street racing. You know, like, dude, it's not street racing. Even a regular car cruise, some people are like, hey, there's street racing out here. You know, they're going, you know, 10 or 20 miles above the speed limit. Like, this is ridiculous. You know, I'm a former vet or I'm like, dude, a former vet or not, like, it doesn't matter. Like, am I bothering you? Or even if I'm not, why are you jealous that I have something nice and you don't?
Yeah, does that make sense? I just think when I think about that kind of stuff, you know, Mustangs, Camaros, all these cars. There's only one reason why they exist: veterans. They had something
to fall back on.
They had something to sell because all these kids, they went over to Vietnam and all these other countries. They came back with wads of cash because there was no way to spend it. Right. So they had to spend it on the cars, and that's why we have the Camaro and Mustang. The Challenger. I mean,
the American muscle, it's.
I should have said Mustang first and that second thing.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I own Mustangs. Like I said, I had 4 Mustang GTs, all 4.6 liters, and you know, to each of their own. Did you
have the SN95, so the new Edge? Did you ever have an S197?
I never had all the 4.6 that I had was between 05 and 09.
05, okay, so you had the 3-valve just like mine.
Exactly like yours. I had a Sonic Blue GT automatic. I had an 09 45th anniversary edition black on black premium Mustang GT manual, and then I had a 09 GT California Special. Yeah, it was blue with the two-tone silver and black interior with a manual on it. And what I really liked about the California Special is because of the appearance package.
That one is the best looking one.
Oh, absolutely.
You are. My wife had a convertible.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. 04. No, it was an 07. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Convertible white.
Yeah.
So with the white and black accent, looked great. It was an automatic, but you know.
Yeah, I had the regular blue with the black stripes that said GT CS on it, and you're basically one Shelby front bumper away from making it look into a Shelby GT500.
Yeah.
Basically a replica.
The only difference was that the rear bumper on the sides was painted. That's right. The GT500s didn't have that. And the side rockers, they were also black on the GT500s and painted on the GT.
And then the diffusers. And you had the diffusers that had all the stripes on them. Yeah. Not the stripes, but like
it was the exact same thing, but it's just a little bit different. And I actually like the look of the GTCS better than the GT500. But would I still pick the GT500? 500 horsepower supercharged.
5.4 liter. We can't say no to that.
More power.
So, and I don't know if you've seen the other episodes, but to come down to it, when I had my dealership back in the day, when I had those GTs, I sold all of them to a gentleman named Tim Porter. And Tim Porter is the owner of Ultimate Bad Boy Mustang up in Indianapolis. He is a Ford, not necessarily an engineer for Ford, but he engineers the Ford engines. Does that make sense? Yeah. So when he gets every single GT that gets into his hand, he builds them from a rear-wheel drive to an all-wheel drive. Interesting. 1,100 brake horsepower Ford Mustang GT.
Interesting.
Yes, he's built them like crazy, and he sells them back in the UK. And he actually built one that he wanted to race against a Bugatti Veyron back in the day.
Yeah.
It's on a YouTube show for sure. And his first Ford Mustang GT was R models.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
And it was a 5-speed, or a 6-speed, I can't remember. Full build, had close to 1,000 horsepower, and the driver that drove it was on a show series called Fifth Gear, not Top Gear.
Fifth Gear, yeah.
Fifth Gear.
With Tiff Nadell as one of the.
Yes, it was a chick that was driving the car, but if you just see the reaction of her and talking about that Mustang, like it was just nuts. And to give it all to Tim, like he was a happy camper. You know what I mean? Like it was just really impressive of what he could do with that car. And so that's when I was like, okay, the Mustangs like have their own platform. You can do a lot with them. And he bought all of them from me. And the GT California Special that he bought, he had a wrecked Shelby GT500. And so he swapped the motors and swapped everything, used my car as a donor, used it as his new Shelby GT500, full build. He sent pictures of it was just like a work of art. Like it was really badass.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things that, with Mustangs, there's so many aftermarket possibilities.
There's so many aftermarket possibilities, and the parts.
Mine's still stock.
Well, I mean, the parts are so reasonably cheap to build versus like my M5. I had to spend like close to $3,500 part and labor to
get that BMW tax.
Yeah, just to put headers on it.
Yeah.
Versus the Ford Mustang GTs or any LS to put headers on it it's not an arm and a leg for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why with American Muscle you can do so much for a little less money and even get more horsepower if you wanted to. So it's just like, but like with me, I just, the only American, not necessarily American muscle, but the only American supercar or best car that I would be happy to own would be just a Ford GT. That's it.
Yeah,
you give me a Ford GT.
Which one though?
The old school Ford GT. Yeah, not the newer Ford GT.
My man.
Yeah.
I'm still salty that they didn't put a V8 in it, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing that sounds like the 2005 Ford GT with with the midsize engine. You got a manual, there.
And it just looks like the old school, like
the GT40s.
Retro.
Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely.
Not to say that the new one isn't beautiful, and if someone were to throw the keys at me, I'm like, oh hell yeah, because they actually sound pretty darn good.
Yes.
For a 6.
Yeah. I mean, well, even if you put a titanium exhaust on it, it even sounds better. Yeah. Like it's just nuts, And I believe Heifer was making their titanium performance, exhausts on them, and I think the first 19 of them. They said that they can come with these exhausts or something like that, just something really crazy.
I still think I love that Ford made another one and they end up winning in Le Mans again.
Right. When you watch Ford versus Ferrari, that movie is exhilarating.
Great.
Yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Also made me pissed off towards the end though, but it's what it is. Yeah, that's just the history.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks that
they didn't like that.
But then it also showed his character as well.
Yeah.
I mean? So that to him it wasn't just about winning. It was
it's about participating.
The experience.
Exactly.
So hats off to him. And if it wasn't for him, Carroll Shelby wouldn't be able to build those Ford GTs the way that they were supposed to be. And to their success. Now you look at the Ford GTs, not the new ones, just those older platforms. Good luck finding one.
Yeah. I remember saying to my father-in-law, hey, if you'd ever want to remortgage your house, that is the car to get because it will never lose value.
Right.
I mean, look what happened.
Exactly.
And it wasn't even a hindsight 2020 thing. I said it before, when they became available for $135K, that's the one to get. It's going to be a classic. And now with the new one coming out, not having a V8,
right? Everyone wants
the old one. And it's like $230,000
easy.
Yeah,
I remember I was at the auction and there was a red one with white stripes, black interior came in, only had 10,000 miles. It was an 05. This was back in 2000 and I'm going to say 13. I saw it and it only went up to $110,000, $120,000.
Yeah.
That was the offer on it. And I'm just like, holy shit, $120,000.
Yeah.
This car is close to 10 years old already,
Yeah.
And it's,
so the driver essentially has driven that car almost for free at that stage,
Yeah, basically.
And now these people that drive, want to talk about cars that hold their value and are appreciating while these people are putting major miles on it. Supras, MK4s. Or Mark 4s, if some people hate it when people call it MK4s, I still do it anyway.
No, who cares? Like, it's a Supra at the end of the day. Like,
it's a fourth generation.
Yeah, but congratulations.
Yeah.
Like, your 15 seconds of fame for saying, it's Mark 4, not MK 4. Like,
whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever at that point. Yeah. So, I mean, that car is just. Yeah. It's just amazing. Same thing with the Supras, and now slowly the GTRs are almost in the same, not necessarily category, but in the same.
Like the older ones, though, because the new, like
the R34s and the R33s, and R32s now, like just randomly just going up. And
the funny thing is that every single time this new R33 comes, you get the tax that shoots up. Now the R34, like the people that want one of those already have one in Japan, sitting ready to go as soon as they're 25 to ship them
even in Canada.
They pay him.
Yeah, it's over in
15 years in Canada.
Yeah.
But the United States is just, a way bigger market for that. So it's just, wow.
But I mean, like, that's the thing. Even right now, the ones that they're getting registered or that had them through Motor GX or whatever, that company that was actually officially making them fully registered to be a U.S. spec, in terms of, registration and reliability.
Yeah, it's like $10,000 extra to get all the safety stuff.
Yeah, and then they went out of business. I can't.
Because they were shady.
Right? And so whoever had those R34 GTRs that were, fine, like, man, I hope they kept them. I hope they didn't get rid of them or anything like that. But yeah, it's like you said, they're either sitting in Japan and people are going to be really excited about them. But there's rumors are going on that some of them that have them, officially, they want $250,000, $300,000.
But they're also like all these cars, all the 34s that are actually here, they're all like the very specific model.
Right.
So there already are not many of them because I think when it comes down to import laws, you can't drive it for more than 2,500 miles a year. And it has to be a very specific car. So it's like a new spec to whatever.
Well, I mean, not only that, and I've heard, like, you can register it if it's going to be a car show only.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Like, you're not just driving this out in public. No, this is going to for a specific show or whatever.
Yeah.
People are still going to get away with it no matter what.
I've seen them all the time. I saw R33s before they were legal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not legal? Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I remember in 2012 I saw R34 Nissan Skyline that came to Cars and Coffee Dallas.
Yeah.
And it was a black one. It had, red accents on it. And I was like, how did this get registered?
I just think that they need to get rid of that law completely. Because the people, if you're going to go out and buy a freaking brand new BMW in Germany and ship it over, that obviously has to be stopped. But if someone is going to bring in a car that has not even been officially, like the brand has a presence, but that particular model has never been sold here, which was kind of the case. Well, it is the case for the Skyline because the R34 or R35 is not a Skyline. It's a GTR.
Right, it's a GTR. Yeah. Well, I mean, not only that. What car? I was watching a show series on VinWiki. The guy's name is Doug, and he was talking about how he was trying to get an order in for the GT3 RSs that weren't in the U.S. yet, but I think it was a couple of dealerships had the rights to sell a GT3 RS.
Yeah, they got an allocation.
Yeah, they got the allocation or something like that, and a lot of people were willing to pay $30,000 to $40,000 over MSRP.
Yeah,
and he already had them all lined up, and then Porsche came back and said, "We will not sell a single GT3 RS to you," and they screwed him over.
Yeah, wow.
And it's just like, well, I had the clientele, but if that's not, and then that was the thing. He came back and said, if Porsche sells a car to him in terms of the GT3 RS, they will shut down that dealership specifically.
Well, I guess he's going to have some of his friends buy one and then
whatever it was. Like it was just crazy. So, but anyways, so you've been. Now that we've just been talking about cars all day,
that's what it is.
It is cars in life, basically. But you have your review channel, and if anybody wants to go, have their car reviewed, make sure you hit up Case or the Dutch Texan on Instagram and on YouTube. Make sure you hit that follow, subscribe for him, and he'll be reviewing my car here pretty soon. It's still currently at the shop. Trying to get a pump fix, but it's a different car now compared to what you saw.
Well, I'm always interested,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that BMW took my V10 Cherry.
Right.
So it's like, a lot of people are probably going to say, well, why are you reviewing this car again? And I'll probably bring it up in a review when it happens. They go, dude, a guy comes, gives you the keys to a V10 and M5, even if you've driven it already.
Yeah.
Are you going to say no? Of course not.
Right.
Especially, you got the new exhaust on it.
Right. Yeah. The headers.
Yeah.
It's got the Stage 2 tuned by M-Power Sports. It's just a different animal now.
Yeah.
And, you've seen it at Cars and Coffee, but
I freaking love it.
Yeah, and now it's got the red interior with it too. So you haven't seen it with red interior yet. Yeah, so wait until you see that.
Because that's a cool combination, man.
With blue on red. Yeah, absolutely.
Sick.
Really good. It's really hard to find. Yeah, for sure. So it's my passion. I'm really happy with it. So we'll see how that goes. And obviously you like American muscle, which is crazy, like all in a good way. Like there's no, like I'm not saying like, oh, well, he's from Europe, he should enjoy European cars. No, absolutely not.
Came in early, Mad Max has kind of got my love for it, which is an Australian film, which is crazy. And I thought the Falcon XB, was officially or originally a Torino.
No.
But it isn't. It's a Falcon XB. Steering wheel on the wrong side or the right side.
In regards to that, though, there's really one question that I have to you. Out of all these American muscle cars, why is the Shelby GT500 1967, other known as Eleanor, why is that not your favorite car to own or to have?
I don't know. I just don't know. I like Mustangs. I should probably say I love them, but when it comes down to like Mustangs and the ones that I want to own, it's the 69. It has the most muscular look. The Mach 1 that I reviewed. I don't know how that came to pass, but it happened. And that is probably still, out of all the cars that I've reviewed, it's probably my favorite. So I get goosebumps talking about the car. Still to this day. Is it the fastest? No. But my God, grab that shifter that's angled towards you. I'm just...
Right?
Oh man, that's just what it is, man. These are classic cars. Yeah, and that's why I want something classic. Mustang's way out of my range. Like maybe a Monte Carlo, a 70, 72. Actually, 70, 71. I don't really like the 72s because they kind of did a weird thing at the front end. But
yeah, I mean, and Ford lost their groove too. The Mustangs after 71. Starting 71, 72, 73.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is, though? I like those.
The 71, 72, 73s?
I don't like them. I love them. Because they have, again, the biggest Mustang that they built until the S197 came out. And I like big cars.
Interesting.
Like, because I'm looking at like Lincoln Continentals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have a really good friend of mine, David. Yeah, he loves. Yeah, I remember. What was it? In fact, last year at Cars and Coffee Dallas, that they had that charity event. What was it, like 4 Lincoln Continentals with the suicide doors showed up?
Actually, and that's the thing. I like the ones with the suicide doors a lot, but I'm more looking towards like the later years. Like we're talking like 72, 73.
Interesting.
They had the 460 and a detuned, but they're freaking huge. But it's like
you just want a fat muscle car, basically, or a fat American car that's got a little bit of muscle.
Just a thick American car that can handle this thick body.
No, that's good stuff.
But it's just I don't even know what I'm gonna end up with. I'm always thinking I'm gonna modify my Mustang, but it's just it's fluent. It's always, it goes, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. One of these days, you're going to see something end up on my channel. Could be tomorrow, could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
It's funny how you say that because, like, never in my dreams would I thought I was going to own an E60 M5.
Yeah.
Never in my dreams did I think that I was going to own the E36 M3 that I bought, right? Like, it just happens. You know what I mean? And once you have it, you're just so passionate about it. You're like, there's nothing else that could replace this, but then you're like, okay, well, maybe if the opportunity shows up, maybe I'll get something else, but I'm not going to get rid of this car or something like that, because I've had a couple people that come back and say, hey, dude, are you ever going to sell your car? If you're going to sell your car, and every once in a while I'll give him an April Fool's joke or something
you'll
like
probably
that.
Get up one day and say, okay, now I'm ready for something else. But the Mustang, I kind of like put it on a pedestal. In my wedding video, both my kids got picked up from the hospital from it because I was not going to let them be picked up in some kind of Prius or something else like that. Because my kids ever asked the question, what car did we get picked up in? American, baby.
Nice.
Ford Mustang V8,
there
manual transmission. None of this other stuff. Like this, everything is electric now, which they're pushing that so much, and I really, is it coming? Probably, but do I hope that somehow, somewhere, we can find a way that it just continues to live next to each other?
Basically, that's
what I want.
I see.
That's what I want. So people that drive electric, fine, cool.
Good
for my daily driver, be fine with it too. Teslas, they're pretty quick. But for my fun, I got to have the audio with it, because speed ain't nothing without audio. It's like a movie, right? You're gonna have the best movie. You turn off the music, the soundtrack,
right?
Or you're left with nothing without it. Yeah. So electric cars, fine.
To the wind.
Yeah, exactly. Leaf blower,
right?
Actually, it's probably less loud than leaf. I know it's less loud than leaf blower. So,
well,
whatever. You want to do electric cars? Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Shit. It's just let me keep hold on this gasoline car, man.
I'm not a big fan of hybrids. I'm not a big fan of electric cars. Like, it just does me no justice at all. Yeah. It's like, what's the point? And a lot of people come back and say, well, I think it's really cool to have an electrical car or a hybrid car or whatever. But it's like,
well, I think there's a couple of cool things. One of the cool things is I can come home, plug that sucker in,
charge it.
But that's what I'm saying. For my daily driver, excellent. I hate going to gas stations. But for the Mustang, every single time I have to go to the gas station, those miles that took me to that gas station, yeah.
It's like,
the miles that took me to my plug at home, they're likely to suck.
Right. Yeah. Or especially like if you had a long day, or like if you're stressed out, you're like, I just want to take some aggression out. You'll take out your Mustang, I'll take out the M5, I rev it down. I hear that.
Banging gears is the best thing ever. Because that's happened. Yeah. It's not in a good mind space to get in the car. And that's the thing, there's times that you see me post something on Instagram too, where I'm just not in a good mind space.
Right.
But people always come out and say, okay, well, it's okay. We got your back regardless.
Basically.
And that's what I love about the car community, because most of us, we're a community, and we look out for each other, and we help each other the best we can. And that's why I'm part of it, and that's why I keep coming back to it,
Basically.
Because it helps me stay sane, essentially.
For sure. And I think it's just crazy, like, how we met, and, like, next thing you know, and, like, when I heard in your video review, this is my first time driving a V10, I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's got to drive it. Yeah. Like, come on, man.
First time ever. And there's so many other, like, the first time 1,000 wheel horsepower car, first time GTR is still going to be the fastest car 0 to 60 that I've ever reviewed. After that, plenty more fast cars that I've driven. But
there's a lot of them.
That's still, like, the experience that
for sure. My car's not a 0 to 60 car, for sure. No. It's not.
Oh,
it's
dude,
not made for that.
I reviewed that manual.
A Mont. Yeah.
And there was a freaking STI next to us.
Yeah.
Or a W. I don't know what it was. But, he got ahead of us. So, we ran him down good.
Yeah.
Of course we did. But off the line, there was just no way.
It's not made for torque. My M5 E60 is not made for torque.
It just, as soon as you hit the higher RPMs, boy, it starts to move. Yeah,
and when you just hear that screaming V10, you
get the goosebumps.
It's more than enough for you. And when you turn heads, is what's.
Did you not? If you've seen the manual review, there's this one guy. He was ahead of me, and I went to the next lane over, and I just freaking got it. And then he did like a thumbs up. I didn't even see it because, of course, I'm driving, and he said, dude, he just gave us a thumbs up. I said, okay, well, wait a minute, the exhaust count, he probably caught it.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah. No, I saw that one. And that's because I was jealous. I was like, golly, if I could get my hands on a manual M5, and Ahmad had it at that time. And then finally he sold it. And but yeah, I know a lot about that car. Yeah. So it's very glorious.
Yeah, it's just great stuff. And it was an older car. It still had the original clutch, if I remember right. So it wasn't like as good as it could be, but still just be able to bang gears.
And there's only 13 manual, and it's 1300. There's only 1,300 of them,
and U.S. only. That's the thing that kills me. I'm European. Europeans still to this day, the majority of them drive
manuals. Yeah.
Although it's starting to falter because they're not making manuals anymore. But still the majority, even 80-year-old people, they don't want to give up the freaking manual because as soon as you drive an automatic, you're an old person. Now come over the States and you're the minority if you
basically
were like the bad beers. And I'm like, dude, no, I freaking love it. No, that Passat though, of course it has that DSG. So DSG I think is a good compromise, and also the ZF that is in the new Supra. That's a conventional automatic, but it still clicks off the shifts very quickly.
Well, even with
the A10 too, the automatic, the 10-speed auto.
That, and then Mercedes with their brand new cars, they don't even have a DCT anymore. It's an MCT, multi-clutch transmission. Look into it.
That's actually one of the cars that I have not reviewed yet.
AMG?
Is an AMG. I've never driven an AMG.
AMG, E63S or C63S, definitely do it. Somebody give him a Mercedes.
Yeah,
please.
Exactly.
Give him an AMG so that he can review. Yeah.
That would be freaking awesome. Because there's like deficiency on stuff like that, and it's like, I'd be down.
Yeah, you got to
be down to review any cool car, really.
Of course, yeah.
If I film it, I want to review it. Essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's just what it is. But I just do it for fun, and it's not. I have my regular job, and then I do this on the side, and sometimes it takes a while for a video to come out. It's like, okay, well, it takes so long to do that. And sometimes my mind space, I'm not in the right mind space. Like, I am in a position that I don't have to produce content for YouTube.
Right. It's a hobby for you. It's not a necessity.
It's kind of like a side gig.
Right. Absolutely.
It takes so much time, so I can't call it a hobby anymore.
Right.
Because sometimes I go to a car show, and I really don't want to go, but I still go. And then as soon as I'm there,
everything changes. Yeah.
I'm freaking solid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's why I'm like, car shows, being part of the car community, it makes me a better person inside.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the people that you meet in the car community, if you read the right people in the right crowd, they will bring you up. If you're part of the wrong crowd in the car community,
but you know that early on,
you figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, that's what I love about the car shows, and I'm still sad that Cars and Coffee Dallas is gone, because that to this day is still my favorite show, because you can get in there for free.
Right.
It's just it got ruined towards the end by these kids that were revving the crap out of their cars.
Sure.
So, but before that, it doesn't matter if you have a supercar or you have this Civic with an exhaust on it or something like that, just stays fully modded, because they're all the same. You talk to the guy with the Civic, you have the same conversation with him as you do with the guy that has the Gallardo or the Aventador.
Basically, yeah. Not a whole lot of entitlements, but here's the thing: as the generation has grown, the entitlement is still growing as well. You get the egos, but it is what it is. So, well,
we'll see what happens in the future. That's one of the things that I still hope to happen, and it hasn't happened. The supercar issue. I just want to, that's like the thing that I kind of put it on a pedestal.
Yeah, but let it come to you.
Yeah. You can't go up to someone and say, hey, I have a good review channel. I do car reviews. Let me review supercar. That doesn't work.
Right.
They have to come to me, and I don't want to put that out there, because that's like asking for it. It's I don't ask for any of my car reviews.
Right.
I say, guys, I review cars. If you want me to review your car, let's get together and do it. That's essentially what I do.
Very simple. Very easy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I can't wait for you to review my car again. So
that's going to be cool.
It's going to be cool. For sure. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Do you have any questions for me or anything?
No, not really.
Sweet. Awesome.
This is your show.
Yeah, no, I generally like to ask anyways. But other than that, we definitely do have to do another episode. So we want to invite you back to be on Just Drive again. So
that's fine.
Absolutely. So other than that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. So once again, guys, this is Case, the Dutch Texan, on Instagram, on YouTube. Make sure you give him a shout. My name is Naveed. My Instagram is @iFlyGreat. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and like this channel. Other than that, we're signing off.